So welcome to all of you. In the last lecture, in the last video lecture, we have seen equivalence class. We have seen the number of problems on the equivalence class. So we'll see some theorems on the equivalence class, and then we will see what we mean by partition of a set. How to find the partition of the set, or what do we mean by the partition, and what is the relation between the partition and equivalence class of. So that we will see. So before that, we will see first theorem is what, let Tidal be an equivalence relation. So here given that Tidal is an equivalence relation on a non-empty set X, capital X. Okay. So this is non-empty set, and we have given that this epsilon is a equivalence relation. Means what? So equivalence relation means what? It is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. It is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And what you have to prove? Y is the equivalence class of X. If Y is the equivalence class of X, then we have to prove that equivalence class of X is same as the equivalence class of Y. Okay, that we have to prove. Okay, solution. Proof. So proof. Given that X is a non-empty set, and Tidal is an equivalence relation on X. This is provided to you. Okay, so what do I have to do? What do I have to prove? Y is the equivalent class of X. Then what do I have to prove? Equivalent class of X is same as equivalent class of Y. Okay, so let Y belong to equivalent class of X. So what does this imply? Y is the equivalent class of X means what? So what do we mean by equivalent class? So set of all the elements which are related to X. Set of all the elements which are related to, that means what? Set of all elements in X which are related to this X, right? So that means what here? Y is related to X. You may write X is related to Y, doesn't matter. We will write this as 1 now. This is provided to you. What we have to prove? Equivalence class of X is same as equivalence class of Y. These are two sets. So these are two sets. So we know that when we say that the two sets are equal, if the elements of A and the elements of B are same, then we say that A is equal to B, right? So but here the elements of A and elements of B are not known to you. So what we have to do then? If we have to prove that A is the subset of B and B is the subset of B. So whenever they are the subset of each other, that means what? A is the subset of B, means all the elements of A are in B, and B is the subset of A, means all the elements of B are in A, right? So then we say that A is equal to B. That means if you want to prove A is equal to B, right? If your A and B are unknown, so then what we have to show that A is the subset of B and B is the subset of A. So what we will do here? So first we will prove X is the equivalent class of X is the subset of equivalent class of Y, and then we will prove equivalent class of Y is the subset of the equivalent class of X. Okay. So first we will prove equivalence class of X is the subset of equivalent class of Y. Okay. So let Z belong to equivalent class of X. So I have taken the element Z from the equivalent class of X, and what we prove? We prove it is the element of Y. Okay, we have taken Z from X. What we want to prove? You want to prove that Z is the element of the equivalent class of Y. That means what here? Every element of the equivalent class of X is the element of equivalent class of Y. Okay, so what does this imply? This implies that Z is related to X by our definition. Okay, so what do we have? We have Y is related to X. We have Y related to X. So I can write Z is related to X. I can write here X is related to Y, because what? Tidal is symmetric. So what? Because I have written here Y is related to X. Here your what? This is Y related. This is given to you. So I have written here what? X is related to Y. Because what? This is equivalence relation. That means it is reflexive. It is symmetric. So I am using here symmetric. So this is what? X is related to Y. Because of this. Now here what? Z is related to X. X is related to Y. Your Tidal is equivalence relation. That means Tidal is a transitive. So transitive means what? X is related to Y. Y related to Z. Then what? X is related to. Same thing here. What? X is related to Z. And Z is related to X. X is related to Y. Means what? Z is related to Y. Since what? Tidal is transitive. transitive, right? So therefore what does this imply then? This implies that Z belongs to equivalence class of Y, right? So thus so thus Z belongs to equivalent class of X implies that Z belongs to equivalent class of Y. We have proved this, right? So for all Z belong to equivalent class of X. So therefore equivalent class of X is the subset of equivalent class of Y. I will call this as A now. I will call this as A. We have proved that equivalent class of X is the subset of equivalent class of Y. Now what I will do? I will take the element from equivalence class of Y and I will prove that it is belong to the equivalent class of X. Now let Z belong. Okay, so you can take Z. This Z and this Z is different now. Okay, so this meaning is different. So this is what this implies that Z is related to Y. Z is related to Y, and we have this is what Y is related to X. Right? We have this. Now here what Z is related to Y is related to X. So what this implies that Z is related to X. Since what theta is transitive. Theta is transitive. Okay. So this implies that Z is belongs to Z is related to X means what? Z is the equivalent class of X. Note that here you may write what X belongs to X related to Y implies X belongs to equivalent class of Y, or you may write Y belongs to equivalent class of X. Okay. So that we want to take here. Okay. Now here what? Z belongs to equivalent class. Where? So now Z we have taken from the equivalent class of Y, and we have proved that Z is the element of equivalent class of X. So this therefore Z belongs to equivalent class of Y implies that Z belongs to equivalent class of X, or all Z belongs to equivalent class of Y. So this implies that equivalent class of Y is the subset of equivalent class of X. We will write this in A. So from very simple result, from A and B, equivalent class of X is same as equivalent class of Y. Very simple. Okay. Now we will take another theorem. Let X be a non-empty set. Let X be a non-empty set, and it will be an equivalence relation on capital X. Then any two equivalent classes are either identical or disjoint. That is equivalent class. Is empty, or equivalent class of X is same as equivalent class of Y. That is okay. So we'll prove. What we will prove? If you take any two equivalent classes, they are either identical or disjoint. Disjoint means what? They don't have the common element. So their intersection is empty. If their intersection is empty, then what? The equivalent class of X is not equal to equivalent class of Y. So if there is a common element, in equivalent class of X and equivalent class of Y, then equivalent class of X is same as equivalent class of Y. That means if it is not empty, then equivalent class of X must be same as equivalent class of Y. So this we want to prove. Okay. So prove. Given that given that X is a non-empty set and reader is an equivalence relation on X. Okay, let I will take two elements from this X1. Okay, so if equal intersection is empty, then is not this is obviously because what if two sets are same, then their elements are same, right? Now here what intersection is empty, that means they have no common elements, so that means what the elements of X and elements of Y are not same, so that means what they are not equal. Okay, so this is whole. Now what we have to prove, either this is or this, that means if it is not empty, so this is not empty, then you have to prove that. Okay, so suppose that A intersection Y is not empty. If it is not empty, now what is your aim? Our aim is what? Aim to prove that equivalence class of X is same as equivalence class of Y. This we want to prove now. Okay, so whenever it is not empty intersection, either this is what, either this is old. One of them is old. Either they are this is what, they are disjoint or they are identical. Now here what, either disjoint or identical, or either identical or disjoint. Anything is this, right? So what you have to prove now here, your intersection is not empty. You have to prove that equivalence class of X is same as equivalence class of Y. Okay. So as equivalent class of X intersection equivalent class of X is not empty. It is not empty means what? Therefore, there exists Z belongs to equivalent class of X, equivalent class of Y. Right? It has at least one element. It is not empty. So what does it imply that this is what? Z belongs to equivalent class of X and Z belongs to equivalent class of Y. Okay? By the meaning of the intersection. By the meaning of the intersection. Okay? So this implies that Z belongs to equivalent class of X means what? Z is related to X and Z is related to Y because Z is the equivalent class of Y. Okay? So I can write here what? This implies X Z is related to X. I can write this is what? X is related to Z and Z is related to Y. Since what? Theta is equivalence relation, that means theta is symmetric. Since theta is symmetric, you may write here what? Theta is equivalence relation. Actually what? So in the equivalence class, we are applying the property what? The symmetric. Okay? So here we are applying symmetric. Now X is related to Z and Z is related to Y. Theta is equivalence relation means what? X is related to Y. Since what? Theta is transitive. So X is related to Y means what? X belongs to Y or Y belongs to X. X belongs to Y or Y belongs to X. So we have seen that if Y belongs to equivalent class of X or X belongs to equivalent class of Y, then the equivalent class of X is 7. In the previous result, we have proved that if Y belongs to X, then equivalent class of Y is 7 equivalent class of X. Or X belongs to equivalent class of Y, then equivalent class of X is 7 equivalent class of. If they are the member of each other, then their equivalence classes are same. So this implies that what? Equivalence class of X is same as equivalent. Just we have proved in the last theorem. In the last theorem, we have applied it here. Equivalent class of X is same as equivalent class of Y. So that means what? Whenever this is not empty, we have proved that they are equal. Right? So if it is empty, obviously equivalent class of X is not same as equivalent class of X. So thus equivalent classes are either identical or disjoint, either identical or disjoint. Okay, so we'll apply this somewhere now in the partition. Okay, so these are very important theorem. These two theorems are very important theorem in this chapter. Okay, now we'll write partition. What do we mean by partition now? So partition. Okay, now suppose this is your region. This is your region. So we want to form a partition. Partition is, suppose this partition. Okay, so this like this. Right? So I will write this as what? P1, P2, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. Now see, this is your whole set. This is your whole set capital X. Now these are what here? P1, P2, P3 what? So your X is what here? X is nothing but full X is nothing but what? P1. This is what? The region. This is the set of all the elements like in the region P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6 and P7. How these P1, P2, P3, P7 are? So union of all P1, that means what? Union of all Pi, runs from 1 to 7 is your capital X. Is your capital X. Now here what? P1 and P2. Oh, this is what? Oh, this should be P3. This should be P3. Okay, so I will write here what? P0 then. I will write here P1. I will write here P3. Okay, so I will write one more set here P1. I will write here Pi. So 0 to 7 suppose. Okay, 0 to 7. Okay. Now see that the union of all these sets is nothing but your capital X, and if you see that Pi intersection Pj is empty now. It's empty if I not equal to j. If I not equal to j, that means what? See, there is no common element from P1 and P0, P1 and P5, P0 and P6, P0 and P4 or P4, P7. There is no common element. That means they are the completely disjoint. They are the completely disjoint. These are the completely disjoint. Okay. So that means what? So this is the partition now. This P0. This is the collection of the sets. They are the subsets of X. Your P0, P1, P2, P3, P7 are the subsets of X. Right? And see here, union of all these subsets is nothing but your capital X. And what? The intersection of any two sets is what? Empty now. So this is the disjoint, right? All the sets are disjoint. All these subsets are disjoint. Okay. So that means what? The collection of the subset disjoint subsets of X is nothing but a partition. So we write the definition neatly. So write the definition of partition now. So I think you understand what we mean by partition now. Okay. So we write the definition of partition now. A partition of a non-empty set capital X, non-empty set capital X is a pairwise disjoint collection of subsets of X, whose union is capital X. Okay, so this is the definition of partition. Or you may write here, or X is equal to, or suppose we will denote this by P alpha. Okay, so P alpha is a subset of X. Alpha belongs to, suppose this is n natural number. Okay, alpha belongs to n, the natural number. Okay, such that 1 X is equal to union of all alpha. This is for all alpha. alpha belongs to n. Okay, and second, p alpha intersection p beta is equal to mt alpha not equal to beta, for alpha not equal to beta. Okay, so this is the definition. Just write this definition. This is what to understand, right? So this is this is a symbolic representation. This is a verbal definition of the partition. Okay, so now here also we will take a theorem. What is the relation between partition and, so we'll take one example so that you will understand what we mean by partition. Suppose I have given this set A is A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. We will write a partition now P here. Okay. So I will write a singleton A, I will write a singleton B, I will write a singleton C, I will write a singleton D here. Okay. Now see here what the intersection of the two sets. This will be one partition. P1 is the partition of the set X. Now see here. If you take the union of all the sets is what your capital A is your capital A, and take the intersection of any two sets, it is empty. I will write another thing is what the singleton A, and this is what B, C, D now. This is also a partition. Okay. I will write another, this is what singleton A, singleton B. Then this is what A, C, D now. Okay, A, C, D. You have to take the subsets of A such way that union is the A and intersection of any two subsets is empty now. So again I will take one more example is what C, then this is what A, B, D here. This is a possible this is P point is what D, then what A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay, so okay, one singleton and others should be prepared now. This is P5, P6. Another I can write this is what A single doubleton now. This is what AB, and this should be what CD. Yes, this is also a partition. See here, union is what all set A and intersection is non-empty, right? So again I can write this is what P7. This is what A, C, and this is what BD. Again I can write this is what AD, and BC, AD and BC. Okay. So see that again what we may write other possible if you have. So here what singleton and doubleton I have taken here. Okay. So all all singleton also taken here. So these are the examples of a partition. These are the examples of the partition of the sets. You can write any if they ask to write at least two partitions, you can write any two of these. Okay. So I hope that you understand what you mean by a partition now here, right? So partition means what? It is the collection of all pairwise, disjoint pairwise disjoint subsets of capital A, such that union of all the sets is nothing but a capital A, right? So union should be the capital A, and what pairwise disjoint? Pairwise disjoint means what? If you take any two subsets from this, so their intersection is empty now. If you take these two sets, intersection is empty. See here, for here what? Here also what? If you take any two here, intersection is empty. Okay. So I have got to understand. You can take the 5 elements, 6 elements, 7 elements. You can find at least 2, 3, 4 partitions of that set. Okay, try for that one. So take A, B, C, D, E. Take A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and something like this, and try to find a partition of the sets. We'll take a theorem on this. So these two theorems are also very important here, right? Equivalence relation induces a partition, and partition induces a equivalence relation. So here what we want to see the relation between the partition and the equivalence relation. So we'll take two theorems now here. Okay, so theorem 1. Okay, so theorem. Okay. Let X be a non-empty set. Let X be a non-empty set. Then the equivalence relation on X then the equivalence the relation on X induces a partition so we will write the equivalence relation. Okay, equivalence classes. Okay, the equivalence classes of an equivalence relation on X induces a partition on partition of X. Okay, so we prove this one. Let X be a non-empty set. Okay, let Tidal be an equivalence relation on X. Okay. Let X belong to X. So P is equal to, let P is equal to equivalence class of X, which is subset of X. Okay, so X belong to X, equivalence class of X belongs to X. So this is the equivalence relation you have, equivalence class you have. You want to prove that P is the partition of X. Okay, so our aim to prove that P is a partition of X is a partition. Partition means what? What do you have to prove? It is what? Union of all the set. This is the okay. That we will do in the joint. So union of all the things. Okay, since X belongs to X, we know that it is what Tidal is. Tidal is reflexive. Imply that X belongs to equivalent class of X. Now means what? Every element is in its equivalent class of X, right? So therefore, now what here? If you take any elements of X, it is either in X. It is what? It is always in its equivalence class. So that means if you take the union, it will what? This is capital X, right? So therefore, union of all elements of P is capital X is equivalent. Because what? At X, it is not subset of X. So if you take any elements of X, it is in the equivalent class of X, right? So that means what here? For every element we have the equivalent class. It belongs to equivalent class. And union of all these will be what? Your capital X. It will be your capital X. Okay. So one part is here. When union of all these. Only what you have to prove? They are either identical or disjoint, right? So we know that equivalence classes either identical or disjoint. So that is what? That is equal or intersection is empty, right? So no matter what, this is Y. Equivalent class of X is equal to 1. That means what? they are, if they are not equal, then they must be the disjoint. They must be the disjoint. That means what here? So what here? The equivalent class are disjoint. So that means what here? It is the union is capital X and it is the pairwise disjoint. It is the pairwise disjoint. So therefore, very simple now here. Therefore, P is a partition on X. A partition on X. So P is partition on X. So theorem is over now here. Okay. So very simple now here. So now we take the second theorem. So now what here? Equivalence relation induces a partition. Now with the help of partition, we can define the equivalence relation that we want to do. Right? That means what? Every equivalence relation induces a partition and every partition induces a equivalence relation. Define equivalence relation that we want to prove here. Okay? So let X be the non-empty set. Let X be the non-empty set. We will take the second. Given a partition P alpha which is subset of X, alpha belong to some we'll write n, no problem here, of a set capital X, the relation to be in the same subset P alpha is an equivalence relation. This we want to prove. Okay, so prove. Let P is equal to P alpha subset of X, alpha belong to whatever this n, be the partition of a non-empty set capital X. Let Tidal be a relation defined on X such that X is related to Y if and only if X and Y belong to the same set P alpha of P is P one. The same set of P alpha of P. Okay, so our aim to prove that Tidal is an equivalence relation. Now we'll prove this one. Okay, so Tidal. What is this here? X is related to Y if and only X and Y belong to the same member of P. Whatever this member, I have taken that member is P alpha. You can take P beta, whatever this. Okay, so we'll prove this is equivalence relation. So it is equivalence relation means what? What we have to prove? We have to prove that it is reflexive, it is symmetric. Okay, so first we will prove it is reflexive. Right? So reflexive means what? X is related to X. Okay, so X and X belong to the same member P alpha of P. So this implies that X is related to X. This implies that Tidal is reflexive. I'll call this as A now. Well, I have proved that it is reflexive. Okay. Second, symmetric. Means what? Let X is related to Y. What does this imply? I have to prove I have taken X is related to Y. what we have to prove? Y is related to X. Okay, X is related to Y means what? X and Y belong to the same member P alpha of P. I can write this as what? X and Y. I want to prove Y is related to X. So I can write this as what? Y and X. X and what? Y and X belong to the same member P alpha of P. Right? So what does this imply then? Y is related to X. And what does this imply? I have taken X related to Y. I have proved that Y is related to X. So here what? So you have to write this what? Belongs to the same member of P alpha this. Okay. So now your theta is symmetric. Theta is symmetric. Okay, so I'll call this as B now. Okay, now next what we have to do? So what you have to do? You have to take X is related to Y, Y related to Z, and what you have to prove? What we have to prove? X is related to Z. Okay, so third, transitive. So let X is related to Y and Y related to Z. Okay, what does this imply? X and Y belong to the same member P alpha of P, and Y related to means what? Y and Z belong to the same member. I can take here P beta now. I can take here P beta of P. Okay, so that means what here? This implies that XY belongs to P alpha, and YZ belongs to P beta. What do I have to prove? X and Z belong to the same member. That means what do I have to prove? P alpha is same as P beta. This I have to prove. P alpha is same as P beta. Okay. Now since P alpha and P beta, they are the members of the partitions. That means what? They are either identical or disjoint. They are P alpha and beta are either identical or disjoint. They are identical or disjoint. So, but what here? Y belongs to Y is in both. But what? But Y belongs to P alpha intersection P beta. Therefore, what? P alpha intersection P beta is not empty. Therefore, we must have P alpha is equal to P beta, and we have proved that P alpha is same as P beta. So what is this? Therefore, X and Z belong to P alpha is equal to P beta. That is same member of P now, capital P. Okay. So therefore, X and Z here. XZ belong to P alpha equal to P beta, means the same member of P. So therefore, X is related to Z. This implies that Z is transitive. I call this as C now. So from A, B and C, theta is an equivalence relation. So both the theorems are over here. So these two theorems of equivalence relation and these two theorems for partition. These four theorems are very important here. So try to understand all these theorems. I hope that you understand all these things. Yeah. So now we'll stop here. Thank you.